Hello and welcome back to AJ Kitchen Paper. I'm Asa, your wonderful Aussie host, and this is Oats, our Japanese cook. Today we'll be looking at Okonomiyaki pizza. If you feel like you need more veggies in your diet, this is the perfect recipe for you. Let's dive in. Let's start off by shredding and dicing a half a cabbage, because fiber is queen and we are her loyal subjects. So just chop vertically and then slice again on the horizontal. Dansky runsky. Now that everyone's nicely finely shredded, we're going to pop everyone into a bowl and off to the side. Now let's chop up our toppings. It's time for tiny green capsicums. Chop your cute little capsicums into nice rings and take out any seeds, and done. Into a bowl and off to the side because it's time for tomatoes. Grab a few freshly washed cherry tomatoes and chop them in half, because cherry tomatoes are clearly more superior than their older, bigger cousins. And off to the side they go. Now we're going to chop up some ham, so it's super easy, just into long slices and that's it. I wanted to get salami, but salami doesn't seem to exist in Japan, so, and off to the side with those. And lastly, we're going to slice up our mozzarella. Just slice it up as thin as possible and off to the side with it. For a country that doesn't consume too much cheese, there's a lot of mozzarella lying around in supermarkets. Feel free to also just use regular shredded cheese. Now that's all of our toppings done, so let's get stuck into the okonomiyaki part. So pop 300 grams of flour into a large mixing bowl. Don't worry about trying to sift it out, nobody cares. So once that's in the bowl, we're going to go ahead and dump in 300 milliliters of water as well. You want to get this to the consistency of pancake mix, so keep adding the water slowly until you get that. Now then, questionably using a whisk, we're going to mix together and then add in an egg. And then with a good whiskety whisk and a good squishity squish, let's mix it into the batter. This is the kind of consistency that you're aiming for. Check your consistency by drawing small wormies. Now then, add in as much cabbage as humanly possible and mix to combine. Now this is fine, but let's make it even better. So add in tenkatsu, which are essentially just small fried bits that came off of tempura. You can find these at your local Asian supermarket. And along with that, let's add in some red ginger pickles. These extra bits sound a little bit weird, but trust me, it tastes really good. And that's prep done, everybody. Pop everybody into the shot. There you go. Let's move over to the flame now. Heat up some cooking oil in a large fry pan and get everybody a nice swishity swirl to make sure that this pan is completely covered in oil. On a low to medium heat, let's ladle in your batter. We also want to make sure that this isn't too thick, so only a couple ladlefuls here. And do your absolute best to flatten everybody out into a nice circle. And then we're going to pop the lid on to let this cook a little bit.
A few minutes later.
Now the bottom's all firmed up, let's flip them over. Grab your finest spatula, ladies and gentlemen, and flippity flip boos. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a perfect score. Beautiful, wonderful. Japan wins the gold. And then back on with the lid, and then off it comes. And we're just going to continue this process of lid on, lid off, flip, lid on, lid off, until it's all nice and golden. Now let's add on our pizza base sauce, or in our case, pasta sauce, because it's fine, it does basically the same thing, come on. Spread it out with the back of the spoon until it's reached all corners and it's nice and thick. And now it's time to pile on your toppings. Starting out with our tiny pink ham boys, or as I like to call them, Betty, because you know that Betty had a life before she was ham. Now on top of Betty here, let's pop our tiny rings of capsicum on as well. And then in between our tiny rings of capsicum, we're also going to place our cherry tomatoes and our big wads of mozzarella as well. I will recommend just making your mozzarella slices just a little bit thinner than this. And pop on the lid to cook. And off it comes. Look at all that nice melty boys. Now do your absolute best with a tiny lighter to get some nice crunchy bits on the top of that cheese. Yeah, you kind of got there. Now go ahead and place some lovely fresh basil leaves on top there. We are trying to make this at least slightly healthy, so yeah, there you go, greenery. That totally balances out all the cheese. And that's it, you're done. Let's bring it over to the plate. Now delicately slide your lovely pizza out onto your plate. Show it off to all your mates. Looks like a real pizza. Our drink of choice tonight is fake umeshe, because plum wine that comes in the same cup as 1 cup sake is always going to be a good time. Now that you've had a nice sippity bip, let's have a taste test, shall we? Grab your sharpest knife, because we didn't have any other knives, and then do your very best to cut up a nice piece for yourself. I know it seems that we're sort of awkwardly smashing two different types of cooking together. This is really good, and your gut will be singing your praises, thanks to all of this fiber that you're getting from the amount of cabbage in here. I mean, just look at that cross section. Now this is a slightly healthier alternative to pizza, however, but do be aware about how much cheese you are putting on this, because this amount of cheese is probably not too good for you. And And you can always go for other options like cottage cheese or certain types of nut vegan cheese. This is a surefire winner on your dinner table. So if in your family there's someone who isn't a massive fan of eating veggies, give this one a shot. And of course, whatever toppings you love, pop these on here. I'm sure it will work fabulously. One quick tip here. Keep your pan on a low to medium heat so you make sure that everything's nice and cooked through, because this is a pretty thick pancake. But if you do that, you should be fine. Now, if you do have a go at this dish, tag us on Instagram. We'd love to see what you've come up with. And as always, the full recipe is down below with our blog attached. 日本語版もありますので、どうぞ見てくださいね。Alrighty, it's time for me to tuck in as well. Till next time.